In a land of sunshine where the palm trees sway, there's a special show to brighten up your day. From rockin' festivals to Broadway dreams, tune in with Bonnie G. It's a desert scene, the desert scene with Bonnie G. Meet the stars and feel the beat. From the Coachella Valley is the place to be, for all the culture, fun, and harmony. The desert scene, yeah, with Bonnie G.
Mutual Broadcasting welcomes you to the Desert Scene, featuring conversations with the people who make culture, art, and entertainment happen in the Coachella Valley. From local theater to live music, art exhibits to cinema and beyond. The Desert Scene is presented by El Portal Mexican Restaurant in Cathedral City. Now, here is your host, Bonnie G.
And welcome to the Desert Scene. So happy to have you here, and happy to welcome to the show a buddy of mine. She's been on before, Miss Angie Delaire, who's got a great show coming up November 3rd at the Arthur Newman Theater, a Barbra Streisand tribute show. Hey, Angie, how are you?
I'm good, Bonnie. Nice hearing you. I love your intro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's my new song. So tell me how, I mean, you've been singing for a while. And this, by the way, this woman, if you haven't heard her, she's got some pipes. How did you decide to focus on Barbra Streisand in this show?
Well, it wasn't really me. It was probably the audience at the other show that I did at Arthur Newman, which was Songs of the Movies. Mm-hmm. And I had a couple of Barbra Streisand songs in there. So the word was, can you do Barbra Streisand next time? So here I am.
Excellent.
Timeless diva.
So, of course, she has a huge library of material, of songs that she's done over the years. How did you narrow it down to, I mean...
You know, it was difficult, but we're starting right at where she started with Miss Marvelstein. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where, you know, she started to show that a star had been born on Broadway. And then it just goes into some of the early Broadway songs, you know, Happy Days, People, you know, Funny Girl. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of move along to when she gets into film. Mm-hmm. And we all know that she was with Chris Christopherson and Evergreen.
Right.
And the handsome guy, you know, the other guy in The Way We Were. Yeah. And, you know, goes from there, and I just build it up to a duet or two, and then how she became involved in actually being a cinematographer. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of end it with one of her songs that is kind of a pinnacle song at the end. Mm-hmm. But our Yentl, I wanted to say that Yentl, she has such a broad range of music. It's unbelievable. She's a genius.
Absolutely.
Like listening to her phrasing, her way she does a song, you hear it for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard that song or really listened to it, you've heard it for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a couple questions for you. In the beginning, so Miss Marvelstein said, I can get it for you wholesale. And wasn't it Sammy Made the Pants Too Long? Wasn't that her big song from that?
I think so. Yeah. That one's not in the show,
okay.
But I had to narrow it down to at least 70 minutes. So
yeah. And do you do two other songs? I'm asking, and I don't want you to tell me everything you're doing, but are you doing a Sleepin' Bee, and are you doing Coloring Book?
No, I had considered Sleeping Bee, but I really wanted to do the Yentl songs. Mm-hmm. So I had to cut it somewhere. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's tough. And so who's your instrumentation? Who's your band or pianist?
Okay, Joel Baker Excellent. Is the musical director and the pianist, and I have a narrator who's Peter Richardson.
Okay.
And he's done a lot in his lifetime. He's 89, and
wow.
He doesn't look it and he doesn't sound it. Mm-hmm. He's just wonderful. I just actually went through the script with him this morning, and it's so great. Yeah.
I love your poster. It's beautiful, and it's interesting because the face to me, it captures a little bit of her, but I think a little bit of you also in the poster.
That's funny you say that, because we have patients that come through the office, and I have my cards here, and they said the same thing. But someone said, "Why didn't you put your face in there?" And I said, "Because, it's all about Barbra. This show is all about Barbra, and I want you to put your imagination in there." And we have a few twists and turns in the show that are going to that I have done differently that with the film, which is going to be great. So I can't let the cat out of the bag, because it's going to be different.
Yeah. Now, can you tell us who did your poster? Because great job on that.
Well, Ron and I just sat down and we just kind of fiddled around with a few things. And I said, I don't want just my face in there. I want something kind of like vintage looking.
Yes, and it is.
He came up with it.
Wonderful. Excellent. So let's go back a bit. I know you've been on the show before, but let's start. You're from Canada originally, correct? Mm-hmm. And you started, I think you have a fairly musical family. Did you start singing very young?
Very young, probably 3.5.
Wow.
And it was always in front of, family and friends, and also people could hear me singing, because I'd sing all the time in the backyard when I was on the swing. So the neighbors would go, "Okay, Angie, come on, sing a song for us. Like, come on, Over the Rainbow or something, Yeah. So that's how it got started.
So did you know pretty early on that's kind of wanted to pursue that as a career?
I think it's always been there, Bonnie. Always a passion. Yeah.
And what about your parents? I know you have a niece but were your parents musical as well?
Yes. My dad used to sing in a band. My mother, she used to sing in a lot of the music festivals as growing up. So she had an idea of what it was all about. And, she helped me through when I couldn't read to actually learn the words.
Yeah.
So she was pretty good at that. But I actually started with nuns. That was my beginning with music lessons. A nun taught me for a couple of years, and then I had another teacher who was also my phonics teacher, who was a really good teacher, and then moved to a finishing teacher her husband was the conductor of the orchestra in Saskatoon, and then went to British Columbia. Long story short, I never went, and I should have went with them, but I was young, didn't want to go.
Well, you didn't want to go where? Where
I didn't want to. They wanted me. I was like 18, right? They wanted me to go to Victoria because he was going to conduct over there in Vancouver, and they wanted me to live with them.
Oh,
so
you said no.
Yeah, I look at it. I love opera and things like that. She was more in opera, and. I just, there was just so many things I want. I think I was more fitted or suited to Broadway.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to take a really quick break here on the Desert Scene with Angie Delaire, talking about our Barbra Streisand show. We'll be right back.
Craving a delicious meal that won't break the bank? Look no further than El Portal Mexican Restaurant in Cathedral City. At El Portal, we pride ourselves on offering family-friendly dining with affordable prices on our authentic Mexican cuisine. Owner Victor Lupercio and his dedicated staff make you feel like part of the family. Whether you choose to dine in, take out, or opt for delivery, you can always count on fresh, mouth-watering dishes that will transport you to the heart of Mexico. Enjoy discounts throughout the week and explore one of the Valley's best selections of tequila to complement your meal. Join us for live entertainment on Friday evenings and consider El Portal for your next special occasion with our catering services. Visit eatatelportal.com for more details and discover why El Portal Mexican Restaurant has become a culinary gem in the desert. El Portal, located 1 block south of Ramon on Day Palm and Via Olivera.
And we're back on the Desert Scene with Angie Delaire, wonderful singer, talking about her big Barbra Streisand tribute show coming up November 3rd, 3 p.m. at the Arthur Newman Theater at the Jocelyn Center. So did you, when you first started working professionally, what were you doing? Mostly sort of Broadway material?
Yes, I kind of did that, but I did a lot of contemporary too, because I actually recorded even country and western, but it was more contemporary. But I was affiliated with a recording studio. I had my own recording studio in Canada, and the big thing there was doing shows, for conventions and things like that. We didn't have big theaters. They were like 100 miles away. So we would just do shows for that type of thing, conventions and fundraisers, and television for fundraisers as well. So that's where my beginnings started. And I loved every minute of it. I loved some of the old footage that I look back at. I really laugh.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And, we got to meet some of the stars because they were there at these fundraisers, and it was exciting for a small town girl.
Yeah. So what brought you out here to the desert of Southern California?
Oh, what doesn't bring you here? My brother lived here. He moved here as a doctor in the early 80s. He was one of the first Canadian doctors. And we would come and visit quite a bit. So we didn't want to keep staying with them or calling them Hotel California. So we decided to make it our own. And we loved it. We just loved it right from the get-go. Just the vibe here.
Yeah.
I know it's really hot in the summer, but you know what? It's cold in the winter in Canada. So
right. It's a trade-off, yeah. And your husband, Ron, is a chiropractor, wonderful guy. He's always been seems like always been very supportive of your performing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we support each other. I work in his practice, but he supports me and I support him, but he's letting go a little bit because this last show, the Barbra show, I've pretty much written myself and done the videos myself where he usually does that.
Yeah. And you have some grown kids. You also have a niece, and many of them are musical, right?
Yeah, all our kids play. They all went to school and played an instrument, and Paige is a wonderful singer, has some wonderful originals out there. Yeah, and all of our family does. All the kids, the twins and their family, the twins and ours, they all played instruments, sang, wrote music. Yeah.
Now, is there ever, with a big musical family like that, is there ever any sort of even good-natured competition among all of you?
I think maybe when we were younger, but I think as you get older, you start to realize there's a generation you got to push forward and make it known, hey, this kid is up and coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to mentor them, and they want you to mentor them mostly because they don't always know the ins and outs or who to call. Like if the piano isn't in tune.
Yeah. What do I do? Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I'm mentoring right now.
Yeah. So there's so much great Barbra Streisand material. Do you have, and you don't have to tell me whether it's in the show or not, do you have like one or two favorites that you like to sing? If someone said, get up and do a Barbra Streisand song for us, do you have sort of a go-to Streisand tune?
Well, I've always been noted for doing Evergreen. They say, you really channel it through there. And I love that song. It was in our wedding. I actually sang it, but it was at that time taped. We didn't have all this digital. But actually, my recent one, and it's a real toss-up between the two, but I really love Papa, Can You Hear Me? I never did it before.
Yeah.
Never did it before.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
Yeah, so I'm doing that one this time, and it really touches my heart because I miss my dad. He was my go-to, and he always told me, if I did good or not. He didn't color it up or anything. It was either you did good or you didn't do good, kid. But there's room for improvement.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to have constructive criticism, especially from, parental figures. Well, Angie Delaire, I really encourage you, if you have not heard this woman sing, you really need to go to this show. November 3rd, Arthur Newman Theater, Jocelyn Center. Show is 3 o'clock, doors open at 2:30, $20 cash at the door. Barbra Streisand tribute show presents a timeless diva, Joel Baker on piano. Break a leg, sweetie. I know you're going to do great. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie.
All right, Miss Angie Delaire, and the rest of you, we'll see you the next time on The Desert Scene.
The Desert Scene with Bonnie G. Meet the stars and feel the beat. From the Coachella Valley, it's the place to be. For all the culture, fun, and harmony. The Desert Scene, yeah, with Bonnie G. The desert scene's where you belong, with Mutual Broadcasting's Bonnie G. Just sing along. Just sing along.